recording.
All right, my name is Daniel Flanagan. I'm doing the demonstration speech for Central Texas College. This is my audience. You see them all. Everybody wave. Say hi, CTC.
Hi,
CTC. Okay. All right, so the first question I'm going to ask is, do you guys know how to change a tire? And the second question is, do you guys even know if you have a spare tire in your car? Like, have you actually physically seen your spare tire? Now, you might think that this is a pretty easy task to do. You might think that, why would you ask me if I have a spare tire? Everyone has a spare tire. Well, I'm going to give you guys some facts. According to NBC News, cheapcarinsurance.net did a survey with over 2,000 people. And out of those 2,000 people, 17% of those 2,000 people stated that they were somewhat confident when it came to changing a tire. 19% said that they were not very confident when it comes to changing a tire. And 21.8% said they were clueless when it comes to changing a tire. Now, all that total out of those 2,000, that's 1,156 people that are not very confident in changing a tire. And then ABC News in 2014 studied that 30 million cars did not have a spare tire. And 1/3 of new cars being produced were not being produced with a spare tire. The reason for this was the upcoming demands for the fuel efficiency costs. They wanted to get basically more miles to the gallon because the gas prices were high. And so what they did is they put these tire inflation kits in your trunk instead in place of your spare. And these tire inflation kits, they're not that great. They expire in 4 to 8 years, and they really only help if you run over like a nail or something. They can't fix your tire. So make sure you guys actually have a spare tire. Changing a tire is really easy. It's only 3 simple steps, and it's going to be gathering your tools, your equipment. It's going to be preparing your car for the tire change, and it's going to be actually physically changing your tire and testing the new one. We're going to do the demonstration on my car. We're going to go ahead and say that the passenger side front tire is flat. Okay? So the first step is going to be gathering your tools. And now your tools should be either in your trunk, underneath your seat. You're going to have to check where it's at. It's different in every vehicle. They're normally right by your spare tire in a little styrofoam case. Alright, the tools you're going to need are going to be your jack, which is this. It's going to need to be a wrench. It might not look like this. It might look a little different. This is mine though. And then obviously you're going to need your tire or spare tire that you're going to change it out with. Okay, so the first step is gathering your tools. You're going to get them from the trunk or wherever they're at, and you're going to place them by the tire you're going to change. Because it just gets it easier, you don't have to go back and forth. And then before you actually start changing anything, make sure your vehicle is on an even surface, more for safety. Don't change it on a steep incline, things like that, because it's not safe. If you got to, try to drive a little bit, just to get it to a safe incline. And after you're done with that, we're going to start our next step, which is going to be preparing your tire or your car for the tire change. So the first step is going to be, you want to place your jack underneath where you're going to place it. There's going to be like a little metal piece that comes down. It's going to fit in here. You're going to be able to see it once you look underneath the car. All right, you want to put it underneath right there, line it up, but don't actually jack it up yet. Then you're going to take your tire wrench. You're going to put it on your lug nuts, and you're going to break the seal. You want to do it before it's jacked up because it's not going to do good if you jack it up. So break the seals on all of them to where you can hand loosen them. Once you've done that, you're going to be able to raise your jack and lift the tire off the ground. Now when you raise the car, make sure the tire is actually physically off the ground, because you want to make it easier for when you take the tire off and put the tire on. You don't want it to be touching the ground trying to shimmy it off. And after going with that, it's going to bring us to our final step, which is actually changing the tire and then testing the new one. So the car would already be raised. Alright, you would just hand loosen the lug nuts off, put them beside the tire, pull the tire off, the old tire, just put it in your trunk, whatever, dispose of it properly later. Put the new tire, spare tire on, and then you're going to put the lug nuts on. Now when you put the lug nuts on, once you got them on, you're going to tighten them in a star pattern. The reason for this is that your tire is not going to be crooked when it goes back on the wheel or the car. So, for example, you would start here, and then go here, and then go here, and then here, and then here. Alright, tighten them down in that order. And then once you're done, you got it good, just give it one little last test around. All right. Then you're gonna lower the car down off the jack. You're gonna take the jack out, and then I always like to give it one little extra go around. Now, when you're torquing these bolts down, you're not torquing them with all your strength, okay? Because what you're gonna do if you do that is you're gonna break the lug bolt off, and then you're gonna have to replace it. It's just gonna be nice and firm. Make sure it's nice and tight, and that's all you got to do for that, okay? And then after that, you're just gonna take your tools. You're gonna put them back where you found them, and then you're gonna hop in your car and just drive it slow, test it out. But it should be good to go from that point on. And congratulations, you guys have changed the tire. Now we're just gonna review the steps one more time. Step 1 is gonna be gathering your tools and equipment. Step 2 is gonna be preparing your your car for the tire change. And then step 3 is gonna be actually changing and testing your new tire. Now, like I said, I kind of recommend you guys, if you haven't already, check your vehicles, make sure they actually have the tools in them. If they're not in them, put them in them, get them, put them in. Make sure it's got a spare tire. Get a spare tire if it does not, because you better prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And then before you actually get in your car, do like walk-arounds and check the tires, the vehicle, make sure there's nothing in the tires, you didn't run over any nails, and nothing's puncturing it. And make sure that they're not flat either, because if they're flat, they can pop on the interstate, and that's how you gotta change your tire. So that concludes my speech. Thank you very much.